Alright, so I've had a couple successful starts here. The engine runs, it has coolant in it, but I don't have any of the clutch bled, I don't have any of the drivetrain set up, the brakes. I'm running Fast and Furious brakes right here. You'll notice no calipers there because they're just hanging by a zip tie behind there. The longer CV axle, the one that is on the passenger side, I ended up basically ruining it when I took it off because the nut basically stripped out behind there. It stripped out on the end of the axle shaft. And so anyway, the threads were ruined and the part was ruined. Here's the actual nut and you can see how it was just totally screwed up. And so I actually drilled these two little holes in there so I could get some relief because it was all galled up and just spinning. And eventually was able to get it off of there, catch some good threads and get it going again. But that was a huge nightmare. So here is the axle shaft that I ordered right here. It is from Rock Auto and I'm sure it is Chinese. Anyway, that's probably not what anyone would call a quality unit, but that'll work for what I'm doing. So I'm going to put that in. And then also this wheel bearing's not great. There's a little movement there. I don't know if that's picking up on the camera, but I am sure that this side will pick up on the camera. It is absolutely tragic how much play there is there. So that wheel bearing is shot, potentially even the knuckle as well. So that's going to need changing too. Alright, so the steering knuckle's out here now, and so now I can, this ball joint is shot too here. I mean, you can see the rubber's ripped all the way through, and it's basically all sand and grease. So that's going to need replacing at some point too. Pretty well cooked. So now I'll just do the exact same thing on the other side, so we can get these axles in. Okay, so I made a little bit of a mess here, but I got the steering knuckles out. They're completely undone, so now I have a nice clean shot right there to get my axles in. Both sides are undone to this level. There's my two steering knuckles. I gotta replace the wheel bearings on those, but right now the axles, I have one new axle and one used axle that was okay yet, and so I ordered two seals for the output shaft of the transmission, and so they are different. They're different sizes for $4 each. It's quick, easy insurance. This is the driver's side here, and basically I'm going to take a pry bar or a screwdriver and get in behind there and yank that sucker out of there. Alright, so you can see the style of the seal is a little different, but when I put them side by side like this, they're exactly the same, and then they both fit over the axle really nice, so I think that's going to work out. This side is the outside. Alright, so that seal is pounded in, it's flush here, so that'll work out nicely. Now we'll do the other side. Alright, so here's the other side. I got that stabbed in. And then the carrier bearing just has that little bracket that goes over the top of it. And now we can put the suspension back together. Alright, so here's our setup. We got basically a piece of angle iron and a nipple and a coupling. And we're going to press the hub out of the bearing first. And then we're using this bearing support right here to kind of keep it so that the hub has a place to go. Alright, so I got this, both of the bearings pushed out of the spindles here. That was kind of a joke. Ended up using this 2-inch piece of pipe and it worked perfectly, but that was like the 5th combination we tried. So we're gonna sweep up this mess and then get to putting the bearings in. Alright, so I actually had to purchase another knuckle here. So this is from a junkyard, this one over here, because the spot where the ball joint goes in down here was all wallowed out, and so it wasn't holding the ball joint straight. So that other one is good to go, but now I'm gonna go fix up this one original one that I have. This is the bearing, so I'm gonna press the bearing down into this hole first, and then put the snap ring on, and then press this whole hub or this whole knuckle and bearing combo onto the hub there. I got this ball joint removed, basically ground down the top of those rivets. They appear to be aluminum. Got those ground down straight, and then I tried to punch it out, but I couldn't do that, so then I drilled it and then punched it. And so then you're left with this guy slipped inside here, and of course I hammered him out, and good thing I did. Nice little tear there. So I'll be replacing that one. I have just the bare joint as well that bolts in now rather than riveting, so that'll be nice and easy. Alright, so I got the grease fitting put on. Now I'm going to slip it up in here. Alright, well that went on there nice and easy. Got everything tightened up. Now the tie rod end is screwed up. It has a big tear in the side of it and a bunch of sand and everything's inside of it. So you'll notice it has kind of that kick in it. I actually think that's backwards. I've been comparing pictures online, and I think this is actually the way this was supposed to kick. The other one was a Ford. The driver's side was a Ford one, and this here is not a Ford one. So I'm guessing that maybe the wrong side was ordered, or who knows what happens exactly, but I don't think it'll probably matter all that much, but I'm gonna get the what I think is the right one on the right side. If I'm wrong, I could always end up swapping them at some point, no problem, but we'll at least get started with this joint here. Alright, so here's my knuckle with the new bearing pressed into the back here. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and set this right on this lower ball joint. There it is. Now I can take this goofy shoulder bolt, shove that through, and get the nut run onto the back. That nut is formed so that it's basically a lock nut. Alright, so the axle is started through the hub. Put a little grease on there first, and then the end of the strut is trying to go down into this knuckle here. You can see on the back there's that little hook that has to go through. There's like a little cut right here that has to go. It has to go right down in through there. So I'm gonna use a little tappy tap and try and get this to go down. I might actually also lift up from underneath. Alright, so if you just kind of move this brake away, you can see this is pushed all the way in. There's no more rust exposed here. And then just go ahead and put your bolt in. And the nut is basically the other half of the knuckle. Alright, so now we can go ahead and slip this ball joint in behind here. Alright, some of you may have seen this coming, but I had to blow this all apart again. because this snap ring was not in the right position. So the opening of the snap ring has to be in line with the top of the opening there, and it's of course way down here. So I need to grab this guy and move him up to the top because the little ABS sensor, wheel speed sensor, goes through there, and you can see it's blocking blocking its entry. So my bad on that, just some normal everyday stuff there. So I'm gonna rotate that around and get it right. Alright, now that's how it's supposed to be. You can see it's more straight up and down, and now if you look down through there, it's a clear shot, and that's how it's supposed to be. Alright, well, that small detour is over now. I got everything back to where I was. Now I have to run on the axle nut, and so you'll just get this started here and hammer it home, and really tight is the torque spec. Alright, so then this lead for the wheel speed sensor, you just kind of clip into these little bracket deals here. And plug in up top. Alright, so now I can put these obviously terrible brakes on. I can always change those out at any time, that's no problem. I just want to see if this piece of crap even goes down the road first. First thing you have is this little bracket, and so I'm going to go ahead and put that up. And take the whole caliper after you depressed it a little bit. Go ahead and slip it on here. And that's a 7mm hex drive. Okay. Alright, so this section of the front end is all sorted. I just need to bleed the brakes and put the wheels on. Alright, well, I got a mess here. The front end on this side is put together, and same with this other side. So that's awesome. We got some of the world's rustiest brakes here, but we'll try them out, see how they work. And I have a mess here in the shop, so I'm going to try and get things cleaned up. Major items left on the list are to bleed the brakes and the clutch, and so that is it's a common reservoir. There it is right there, and that is something I've never really done before with that style of a system. So I'm sure we can figure it out, but we'll have to get to that another night. Alright, well, there's a second gear, I think. So we got the transmission sorted out, the clutch is bled, and so I think we're good here. The other thing we gotta do is fill the transmission with fluid, so we'll do that here quick. The clutch is bled here. Basically right there, way down in there is the bleeder screw, and you can just stick a nice wrench through there. 11 mil was what I was using anyway. Just bleed just like you do brakes or any other thing. I actually used a little vacuum assist. I use this little doodad right here to assist with a little there's a little canister right there, and that worked out really nice. Got it sorted in probably, I don't know, 10 minutes. Not a big deal. So anyway, that's convenient as they come. Next thing we got here is this transmission fluid, and so this is apparently somewhat specific. There's the part number right there, and anyway, we're gonna go ahead and fill this thing up. I think it takes like just a little over 2 quarts. Alright, so this is the fill hole right there. That's the fill. It's on the front side of the transmission, and we're gonna open that up. And then I have my little boat gear lube pump right here. It's got a little blue color to it. That's just because that's what the gear lube for the boats is. But it comes out clear, and we're just gonna pump some of it in there till it won't take any more. Alright, so there's the fill plug, and I got it filled up till it was pooping out the side and tightened down. So the transmission's all filled up now.
shit.
Still getting used to it.
You got the gas light on?
Yeah,
windshield wipers work?
It's down to nothing. I'll go to Paul's and get some. Stop, check for leaks. Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
Don't.
I almost forgot it was a stick there for a second. Throttle's hanging a little bit. Just have to watch that. No, throttle hung. Think it'll come down?
I don't know. I thought it was for a second there. There you go.
That's one way to bring it down. We'll get to balls that way at least. Get that fresh stuff in here.
Ghost ride it in.
Oh yeah, it sounds good.
I didn't even think to check the brake lights and shit.
Yeah, me neither. Driving around with hot plates. Oh well, he'll see this one thing with the hood, the police, and they'll cut us a break, I feel. All right, we got back from a test drive just now, and no issues except for the throttle cable right there is frayed, and that was causing us some hanging throttle. We would give it a little gas, and it would kind of hang and just grab a higher gear. So anyway, we got the headlights in; those work. I think literally everything else works except for the volume knob on the stereo, and we at least have the controls on the steering wheel, basically the auxiliary controls, and then also the I need to put the steering column portion all back together, and then also the this little pipe right here has a crack, like right in the crotch right there, and so it's just weeping coolant, so we'll get that fixed. But yeah, that was a successful drive. We went all around town, probably did, I don't know, probably 5-6 miles, I would say, pretty easy, and just kind of loping around, not going too fast because I don't want the wheel to fall off or anything, not with company around, so it was good. But anyway, we're gonna put it away for tonight and finish the details tomorrow.